Good morning. Well, afternoon now. I have to get started on those 20 wood grain tumblers that we talked about a couple weeks ago. So now I'm just trying to find all of my teakwood. Hopefully I have more of it. I'm pretty sure I do. I think. Oh, what's this? There we go. All right, that's a full bottle. That's good. I think that's good. I think just 2 bottles is good for now. I'll put this back and get my wood grains going. All right, I remember to glove this time. I never do, typically. I'm gonna use my bottle that I've already been using. Got my trusty old chip brush that I've used for the last 5 years now. If you're new and you don't know how to do wood grains, extremely simple. Do a line top to bottom. Got your trusty chip brush for wood grains only. You're gonna give it a little swirl, make sure you hit up the bottom a little bit, and then just aggressively sweep back and forth like so. Take your ink, line it up right against that last one you just did, that last line you just did. Give it another swirl, hit up the bottom of it, aggressively back and forth. And you can already see that wood grain starting to appear for you. And that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing. All right, here we go. So I got about 10 cups done here. I'll go over my bottoms here after I get all done because I do them a certain way, so it doesn't really matter if they're fully filled in, but I'll show you guys that here at the end. But once you get comfortable with this, you see it's not like, this is flat paint. I have a mix of flat and gloss. It doesn't matter, either or. My main thing is whenever I do these is that I let the primer sit on the cups at least 24 hours, which really helps out. They're nice, you know, the paint is nice and cured onto the tumbler, which makes it a lot easier. If you try to do your wood grains too soon after you apply your white base coat, the paint could possibly come off with the inks and all that, and it just makes it messy. So I definitely recommend letting your paint sit for at least 24 hours before you do wood grains. I'm gonna go ahead and do this cup with you guys and just show you how easy it is, especially after you get used to it. You know, you can kind of get a groove going here. My main thing is making sure that I really hit up that just around the rim. I at least want that rim covered, if anything, because the middle doesn't really apply. But you see it's very messy, so whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're aiming it away from the other tumblers that you've done, because if you spray, you know, if you flick any of your inks onto these, you will have to come through and touch them up because it will make your other inks disperse off your other cups. So just be careful with that. But after you get going, you can kind of get more of a swirl motion going for yourself and just get going a little bit quicker. And before you know it, you'll be a pro at it. See, nothing special. Just swirls, hit up that bottom, and then aggressively sweep back and forth, making that wood look. Now, there are some times where I do have to come through and maybe touch up some spots that just don't look right, which again, isn't a big deal. Not a big deal. See, like right here, all the white isn't fully covered. So all you got to do is just take a little bit of your ink, and I'm just going to make a stripe like that. And I'm just going to kind of swish it back and forth, drag it up a little bit, and back and forth with my brush. And there we go. See? Added a little bit more texture to our wood grain look. But as you get going, you'll be able to kind of make your stripes a bit bigger, which is very helpful, especially if you have a lot you got to do. So I'll just kind of run it a little bit further away, let it drape over just a bit, give it a good swirl, and then blend that out back and forth. Did miss a little spot right there, but I'm not fully worried about that. I'll come back and touch that up in a minute. Don't be afraid of it. There we go. I did that big old spot in one swoop. So I'm gonna come back through and touch that piece up. I'm gonna start at the top and go my way down there this time. Lightly swish that around, back and forth. There we go. Got one done with you guys. And again, I don't care if it's fully, just as long as the outside rim is done, that doesn't matter to me. So I'll show you guys that here in a minute, what I do with my bottoms. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the rest of these really quick. All right, I got them all done here. They're all the way over here. You can't see the rest of them, but I have my rubbing alcohol, and you wanna be very careful. I'm gonna squirt it right into my rag, because again, if you get rubbing alcohol or other inks on your tumblers, you'll have to redo it. So just be very careful. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my rag with my rubbing alcohol, and I'm gonna start making a swirl motion right in the center here. You can go out as far as you'd like. And just keep going. And I'm gonna flip it, kind of do the drier side. Just really get in there. And that's pretty much all I do for my bottoms. I kind of makes it look like a cut piece of wood, a cut log, you know, like the inside of the tree. And that's pretty much all I do for my bottoms there. So now it kind of looks like that. Okay, see how it looks like a log? Very nice. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do up the rest of these. All right, the bottoms are all done. Some are a little bit darker than the others, so I'm just gonna take another clean rag and just kind of come through and touch some of these up that I want them just a little bit lighter. So in case you guys were wondering, these are 20-ounce curves, and it took one whole bottle of Teakwood to do all of them. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. I'm just gonna lighten some of these up just a little bit more. And I really like how some of these, the inks kind of get pushed up into that little bit of stuff around the, you know, the dent down there on the bottom of the tumblers. I like that. I think that's good. All right, 20 wood grains down there. And that's pretty much what they look like, top and bottom. So there we go. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let these sit here for a little bit, and before I epoxy them, I need to clear coat them. I just use my 2x Ultra to spray seal them. I don't think I'm gonna do that right now though. I wanna let them set for a little bit. All right, so my biggest tips I can give you guys when doing your wood grains is make sure that if you plan on doing glitter on them or anything like that, that you give it a coat of epoxy or whatever you use to seal your tumblers first before applying your glitter, because I found even after I clear coat my tumblers that the glitter tends to kind of want to wick away the inks, like disperse the inks under everything. So I just go ahead and I'll give it a thin coating of epoxy, then add my glitter after that has cured. Another thing is I will never add decals directly to this because it'll do the same thing. The decals will disperse the inks under the decals. So I always highly recommend giving a coat of epoxy over top, a thin coat of epoxy over top before you do any type of decals, water slides, anything like that. Especially the water slides too. Those again will disperse the inks underneath, and you'll be able to see, you know, the outline of your water slide on it. So those are my biggest things for this. Letting your paint dry fully for at least 24 hours before you apply your inks, so that way it doesn't smudge the paint. Just doing quick, fast motions with your brush, you'll become a pro. They're super simple, they're super fun to do, and there's so many different variations you can do with these as well. This was the majority of what I used to do when I did tumblers. My wood grains, I had quite a few on my table every single week from orders. So, I mean, it's a pretty popular design. It's pretty versatile. You can glitter it. You can add decals to it. You know, it could be for a guy or a girl, you know, or somebody who's into rustic looks or anything like that. So I mean, they're pretty versatile, but I'm going to go ahead and let these dry. I'm probably going to let them dry overnight. And then I'm going to give them a coating of my spray sealer and a coating of epoxy. And then when we come back next Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and put I'll finish up the decals with you guys. They're very super simple decals. There we go. Oh my goodness. Super simple decals. And then these will almost be pretty much wrapped up. But I think that's going to do it for me today, guys. The kids want to go to the park. This is their last day of Christmas vacation. So we're going to take the kids to the park. We're going to go enjoy our last day off and for, until spring or summer break, at least spring break, summer break. But we're going to go do that with the family. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.